Welcome everyone on the eve of Halloween and everything else, so all scary things, but today is a very comforting day and delighted to have everyone here in the room. It's a privilege to be here, especially on the launch of ABM in Northern Ireland, so it's a very special occasion, so thank you for that. First of all, we would like to introduce our host here today is Gordon Lyons, MLA, previous Minister for the Economy and sponsor for today. So Gordon, appreciate it. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you very much, and you're all very welcome to Parliament Buildings. It's my delight to be able to host this event for you all today, and I want to thank my co-sponsors, Philip, Brett and Colin McGrath as well, for allowing us to be here and to use these facilities and to have what I hope is a very useful discussion. I'm sorry I'm not going to be able to stay for the whole event. There are other meetings that are taking place upstairs, but I did want to be here. I did want to welcome you, and I did want to host this event because I understand just how important that it is. It was an honour for me to serve as Economy Minister up until October last year, and that was a great post because it was my job to promote Northern Ireland as a place to study, as a place to visit, and as a place to start a business, grow a business, and to invest in as well. And looking back, we do have an awful lot to be proud of here in Northern Ireland. We have an awful lot to be proud of in terms of the achievements and the strides forward that we have made over the last number of decades. We have come an awful long way compared to where we were not that long ago. We have made progress, and we will, I believe, continue to make progress in regards to the strength of our economy. But we do have a lot more work to do. There are a number of challenges that we have ahead of us that we need to tackle, and that's why whenever I was Economy Minister, I implemented our 10x economic vision. Because we recognised that we were in a different environment, post-Brexit, post-COVID, and in a different funding environment than we had been used to before. We recognised the need for us to change and to adapt and to create a more innovative and, importantly, a more inclusive economy. And that's why that plan was put in place. And, I think all too often in the past we have looked for that silver bullet, that game changer that's going to make everything all right for us here in Northern Ireland. But the truth is that it's often not a silver bullet or a game changer that makes the real difference. It's all of those little things that we can do that can make things easier for business, that makes it easier to create jobs, to increase our productivity, to increase our growth. It should be our job as politicians not to come up with some great big shiny thing that's going to change everything. But doing those little things day by day that make it easier and that build confidence, and that's what we are about. And so that's why I believe that today is important, because it's another one of those things, may seem small, but can actually make a big difference as we seek to create an economy that can create more jobs and create that economic growth. It's essential to all of the other things that we want to do in government. And I saw firsthand how important professional business mentoring can be. I was able to see some of the programs that Invest NI carried out in order to try and help with this business development and mentoring. I was really pleased to be part of the Going Dutch program that they had organised that took people out, first-time exporters, took them out to the Netherlands and gave them that one-to-one support. Those that had previously been involved in exporting for the first time and shared their expertise and shared their experience over a long period of time, and were able to help build up that confidence and really make a fantastic difference to those businesses. But I do believe that we need to go farther, and that's why I think that what we are doing here today and what we are launching can make that real change and that real difference, providing that additional support and providing that additional confidence that can really make the change that we all want to see. So I want to thank the organisers for today, for the work that has been done to get us to this point. And I'm really excited to see how this can develop over time. I'm looking forward for people right across Northern Ireland being able to benefit from this type of support to enable them to grow their business, or maybe to give them the encouragement to start a business in the first place that's going to make a real difference. So thank you all for being here. It's a pleasure to host you, and I hope that this is a useful event for you all here today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gordon. Appreciate that. So now we would like to introduce the chair to ABM Ireland, is Michelle Lestis. It's an absolute honour to have you here. So many of you in the room will know Michelle from many aspects of her career to date. Business consultant and mentor for over 20 years, bringing enormous experience to the role and the leadership of the ABM going forward. Michelle grew up in a family business after completing an MBA at Ulster Business School. She's held positions in Invest in I, cross-border business development, and was the CEO of an intermediary funding body for EU funding before going on to establish her consultancy business. The business went on to design and deliver many small business development programs across Ireland, as was one of the first private sector consultancies to establish an Institute of Leadership and Management Training Centre of Excellence in Northern Ireland. This interest of improving small business leadership extends further to the publication of her book, In Business With Yourself, by Orphan Press in 2021. Today, Michelle spends her time between delivering talks of her 8 types of entrepreneurial leadership outlined in her book, to both business owners and mentors alike, as well as working extensively on one-to-one strategic mentoring with small business owners. Michelle writes regular business columns for the Irish News and hosts a monthly radio business feature. She is also Walks the Talk co-founder of the Good Food and Wine Hamper Company with her husband Nick, which has just launched in the US. She also holds interests in property and high-growth startups. Michelle is one of the most motivated people I know, and making sure that business mentoring is of a high quality as well as being standardized and professional. So, Michelle, thank you very much.
Well, Pete, thank you for that introduction, I have to say, and also to you for being one of our ambassadors and agreeing to do this today. This is Pete's inaugural event for the ABM, and I'm really delighted that you're with and supporting us on that. Good morning, everyone. You are very welcome to this, the launch of the Association of Business Mentors in Northern Ireland. And hopefully this morning you're going to learn a little bit more about who we are and what we do. Thank you, Gordon, for hosting us here today. I know you have many priorities at the moment, so I personally appreciate the time you've taken out of your schedule, and I know you have other things to be dealing with at this point in time. And for representing and being here with us, you're dealing with a number of challenges. It impacts on all of our lives and for many years to come. So, you know, there's a burden on that, and as I say, it's not lost on me. There are many of you in the room who have already been involved with the ABM. We have members here. For some of you, it is your first introduction. So hopefully you're going to hear about the origins and activities from our national chair, Simon Fordham, who's travelled over from London last night and is spending a few days with us in Northern Ireland. First time here, so you're very, very welcome, Simon. So Simon will give you that insight. But to begin with, I suppose, just to set a little bit of context. The ABM is a non-profit membership organisation. We have members reaching across the whole of the UK and Ireland. Our aim is to promote and maintain the highest standards of professional mentors for the business sector here. Every business can benefit from the support and guidance of an experienced mentor. We as mentors are, in fact, I believe, a key element to ensuring the sustainability and growth of our economy. But you don't need to take my word for it, because we're going to hear from Lyle Andrew a little bit later in the agenda. And Lyle is a small business owner from Ballyclare. He's creating and commercialising probably one of the most highly innovative aggregate products that I have experienced over my career, and has the potential actually to revolutionise road surfacing and bring it into the 21st century. So you're going to hear a little bit from Lyle in a second. So why today? Why is it important to launch the ABM in Northern Ireland at this point? Well, apart from the fact that this is National Mentoring Day, which was really important in terms of trying to secure a room in Stormont, which we did, thankfully. But also, we are now a key partner in the UK government's Help to Grow business development programme. The programme supports business growth across England, Scotland, Wales and here through training and business mentoring. And through our involvement at the ABM, we are ensuring that mentoring input from professionally trained and experienced mentors is high on the agenda. Unfortunately, Kathy Braddon, who is the team leader for the Department of Business and Trade here, unfortunately, she sends her apologies. She was involved with an event this week and one of her colleagues developed COVID, so she didn't want to bring COVID to us this morning. So she does send her apologies, but obviously huge support for the work of what we're doing. And by funding the programme, they really have helped to, I suppose, champion professional business mentoring in the business sector. The second reason, I suppose, why it's important this morning and today is that we now have approximately in Northern Ireland 120 public funded programmes and schemes for business development that includes input from mentors. That's a significant amount of programmes. If we multiply that up, I don't even know how many businesses that might cover, but it is significant. So although that really is to be welcomed, we want our businesses to operate in a thriving economy. You know, we are based in the northwest periphery of Europe. We continually face the challenges of Brexit, and we're currently operating in our political vacuum. So the support that we're getting through these programmes for the business sector is absolutely crucial. But the onus, I suppose, is on those who are funding and supporting and responsible for the delivery of these programmes to ensure not just that they are value for money, but also that the quality is there in the mentoring delivery, because the mentoring support that our business owners get, the quality of that is hugely important. In Northern Ireland, I think it's fair to say that probably up until this point, there's been limited attention on that particular detail. So we're all about trying to change that here today and make business mentoring mainstream and ensure it is acknowledged as a valuable function of daily business life. We hope to collaborate and partner with organisations across the public and private sector that are funding business development programmes and delivering those programmes, and ensure that our local business owners and their senior managers and their senior management team have access to high quality mentors. We will continue at the ABM to strive to raise the standards of business mentoring through continuous professional development opportunities for our consultants, advisors and experts. In doing so, we will assist them to continually improve their contribution and growth to the economy. The ABM intends to champion the impact of professional business mentoring here. We want to make sure that we are recognised as a vital part of the business support landscape by both our business, our political leaders and our policy decision makers. We hope to embrace our lobbying and research role and strive for innovation. And as Gordon has pointed out, the 10 times strategy, we're here to support that. We want to deliver a 10 times better economy for the people here as well. I understand this is a challenging time for Northern Ireland, and we are reminded of this by the very building that we're in this morning. But we will overcome those difficult challenges on our journey, and I am confident that we will continue to do that, and the ABM will happily play our role in advocating for Northern Ireland PLC, supporting initiatives where we can and when we're invited to do so. So finally, I'm delighted to be leading the ABM, not just in Northern Ireland, but with an all-island remit, to work across the island, and is such an exciting time in the development of businesses here, business mentoring, and to champion the input of mentoring to drive business growth. Thank you very much. Thanks for
Thank you, Michelle. It's wonderful. As Michelle alluded to there, Kathy does send her apologies for this morning. So now we would like to introduce Lyle Andrew, who's one of our guests here today as well. So Lyle Andrew has spent most of his career in the quarrying highway maintenance industry, having worked for two major Northern Ireland-based companies in technical, commercial and business development roles, including at board level. He set up his own trading business in 2016. As well as supplying third-party products to the sector, Lyle has also developed a unique road safety product which has recently been approved for site trials and commercial use. So I'd like you all to welcome Lyle here to the stage this morning. Thank you.
Thanks, Pete, and thanks to Michelle for the opportunity to speak to you. What a great venue to have. A little bit spooky with all the fog out there this morning in the eve of Halloween, but it's a great venue to be at this morning. As the introduction said, I run my own small business in the highway maintenance sector, and I wasn't really going to talk too much about the product, but Michelle and Pete have opened the door where I maybe can give a little bit of insight and break some news to Michelle as well. I import an aggregate which is the most reflective natural aggregate available, and it's suitable for use in road surfacing. So what that can do is reduce the temperature of a surface on a sunny day, and that, by reducing the temperature, can prolong the life of the road surface. It also has safety aspects in that lights in a rural setting, for example, the headlights of the car can pick up objects in the road much better against the dark surface. But I've also developed then the product which is a reflective road curb, which is a safety product then which can be used at roundabouts, traffic islands, etc., to actually just reflect the lights. And that's, again, back to unlit or poorly lit areas and pedestrian areas, an important aspect. But thanks for that opportunity as well. But I run my own business since 2015. I set up as a limited company in 2016. So I'm the MD, I'm the sales clerk, I'm the credit controller, I'm the cleaner, although my wife says I need a bit of retraining because I work from home. I was talking to someone else this morning, and apparently it's a common thing. If you work from home, you've also to hang the washing out. But I suppose my relationship with Michelle didn't really start out as a mentorship. It was about funding and the opportunity to have some funding. But I had previous professional experience with Michelle whenever I worked for part of the Lagan Group, and Michelle took a trade visit to Europe. So with that experience, with that connection, and really gave me confidence to do some work with Michelle. Michelle's got skills, and that's the whole point of a business mentor. And sorry for mentioning Michelle all the time. I appreciate that there are other mentors in here, but business mentors have skills that simply aren't in my cupboard. And as I say, working as a one-man business, I don't think it would be expected to have those skills, and I certainly don't have them. The mentor for me is just as important as the accountant who files my tax return, as important as the logistics company who ship my product, and I need that help and support in that sounding year. Talking, over a cup of tea this morning, there were a few words that kept being repeated from other people, and I kept saying, "You're stealing my speech." I mean, it's the sounding board, and it's the confidence, and it's the trust that you have and you build up with your mentor. I suppose that the range of guidance that I get started off, as I say, with grants and funding, and it just evolved into business mentorship, and I needed that mentor. But it's about the business and marketing plans which have been developed over that time. It's about the networks which have been introduced, and even opportunities like this morning. It's a different perspective to my often very technical views on things, and bringing those softer skills. And it's the counselling on my ideas, and whether those are good ideas or bad ideas, there's never anything negative fed back to me, and I really appreciate that, and it gives, as I said, I'm going to use the word again, confidence to me to do what I'm doing. There's also the connections with Invest NI and other funding bodies, Innovate Ireland, Intertrade Ireland. And again, just opportunities like that are priceless, because again, I just wouldn't have those, the finger in the pulse like that. I suppose, as well as the general business advice, another word that was used earlier is probably my therapist as well. I had to check if the word mentee was actually a word, because obviously we're all familiar with the word mentor, but I didn't realise mentee was a word, so I had to rub out the word patient and put in mentee this morning. But I mean, after all, as I say, running my own business, Michelle's the only person who's willing to give me that advice, but I really appreciate it, and challenge my ideas, challenge me and what I'm proposing. But that challenge is a support. It's not always, and again, it's never negative, but it's a support to me, in I suppose, in my virtual boardroom, where Michelle and I are often just meeting online. It works for me because I've got full trust in my mentor, trust in the conversations we have, trust in the feedback I'm going to get, and confidence in all its meanings. I think you've already heard it this morning. Michelle believes in me, believes in my business, and believes in my products, and that is just something that is priceless. I just want to end up with 2 words about my relationship with a business mentor. It's always positive. Thank you.
Thank you, Lyle. Appreciate that. It's wonderful to hear from people who are actually walking the walk. So thank you for that. We now have the privilege of introducing Simon Fordham, really over from the the National ABM Chair. So Simon has had the archetypal rollercoaster ride of employment and consulting, then finding his niche, starting, growing and running a substantial international hospitality, leisure and event management business to a successful exit. And in true entrepreneurial style, not ready to put on his carpet slippers, in 2012 he co-founded Fordham Henderson Business Mentoring and Executive Coaching, where he found his vocation and passion helping others in business. Now chair of the Association of Business Mentors, ABM, and board advisor to a number of companies and government, and author to several self-help books, he splits his time between pro bono mentoring of new entrepreneurs at LBS, University of Westminster, and National College of Humanities, paid mentoring and coaching to execs, business owners and celebrities. I'll be asking you who the celebrities are. He is the UK's #1 advocate for raising and setting of professional standards in business mentoring, and along with a great ABM team, was at the forefront of developing the UK's first professional qualification in business mentoring and coaching. His ethos is that there are no stupid questions in business. We don't know what we don't know. That same year, his organisation, Fordham Henderson Consulting, was awarded the prestigious Business Support Organisation of the Year by the Greater London Enterprise Awards 2020. In 2021, he attained the ILM Level 7 Master's Equivalent in Senior and Executive Coaching and Mentoring in Business. He is a freeman of the Company of Entrepreneurs, and in 2023 was awarded Freedom of the City of London for his work fostering entrepreneurship in the city and beyond. Simon is a member of the Institute of Directors, the Institute of Leadership and Management, and a fellow of the Chartered Management Institute. We'd like to introduce Simon to come up today. Thank you.
Thanks very much. That sounded really good, listening to that. I think it was me. Don't worry, these pages aren't my speech, so this is just the top page. I'm so chuffed to be here and to be invited to be here, and the warm welcome that I've received as a result of being here is fantastic. I'm a bit of an emotional bloke, so I tend to swell up, and because I'm so passionate about what I do and how I do it, and I'm passionate about the reaction of others to what I do as well, and it will never go away. But let me give you a little bit of context. We've lost the ABN logo, so I don't know whether it'll come. Oh, there you go. Look, I can work tech as well, sometimes. So the ABM is 12 years old. It was formed in 2011. I'm not the founder. The founder is a lady called Kerry Dorman, who we honoured this year with a fellowship of the Association of Business Mentors. And it's a very prestigious award that we only give out once or twice a year, and there's only 2 people that have received it, and I'll talk about the other lady that received it in a minute. I met Kerry at a volunteer mentoring event in Westminster. I stepped away from my business operationally in 2012 when I could. I had a fantastic team around me, and the team were running my business, and that's a beautiful place to be in business because you can actually take a deep breath and become more strategic, and you no longer have to empty the bins or hang the washing out and things like that, which we've all done, trust me. I didn't realise it at the time, but I had been mentoring my team because I think mentoring is a natural thing for a good leader to do with the people in their team, because you end up being their parent in a way. Now, that's not condescending, but you know, you've got a desk, you've got a box of tissues on your desk, they come in and tell you about their dog dying or their nan's not well, and you look after them, you nurture them. And if we don't nurture the people that work for us and develop them and lead them in the right direction, then why are we doing what we're doing? I was in business with my brother, and he always said to me that I'm an idiot, spending time developing people and listening to their problems. But I said, no, you're the idiot for not listening to their problems and developing people. Because if we don't develop the people that work for us, why are we doing what we're doing? And I run a hospitality business, and it gave me nothing but the greatest pleasure to see a kitchen porter become a sous chef, a receptionist become a general manager, or a cleaner become a receptionist. And for me, even though we lost some of those staff to better organisations like the Ritz and the Savoy and the Connaught, they did so with pride, and they sold our company to others because they had such a good time working for us. And I think every employer has an obligation to make sure that the people work for them not just get developed, but are listened to, but also they have fun. Let's go to work and have some fun, and that's what I like to install in my businesses. So the ABM, I met Kerry. I wanted to get into business mentoring, didn't really know what it was, didn't know I was mentoring my team. So I joined this voluntary group in Westminster, and we mentored a roundtable mentoring session once a month, and business owners would come in and ask us questions, challenges, and we'd help them. And I found myself, there's 3 other mentors in the room, I found myself agreeing what these other mentors were saying. So that was sort of validating my position as a mentor, saying, well, I'm thinking the same as they, so I must be doing something right. I did that for 5 years. I became the lead mentor for Westminster Business Council, which is part of Westminster City Council. But in those early years, Kerry was there, and she said, have you thought about joining an association to help support you as a mentor? And I went, no, didn't know there was one. She said, well, I started the Association of Business Mentors. She said, think about joining. And I looked up the website. It was a very, very simple website at that time. And I thought, you know what? I need something to validate who I am as a mentor. I need someone to support me as a mentor, because not only do business owners need support, the mentors themselves need support. Because whilst it's lonely being a business owner, it's also lonely being a mentor sometimes. And we do take on the challenges of our mentees. And mentee is a word, definitely. And we do, you know, a coach can switch off after the end of the session and go home and do whatever they do. A mentor doesn't. A mentor takes the problems of that mentee and takes them home with them. And I've honestly laid awake at 3 o'clock in the morning wondering how I can help my mentee sometimes. And it comes to me, and it does take that little bit of time, but we don't stop just at the end of the session. So I needed validation. I joined the Professional Association, and I found that I was amongst other people that just had been in business and had got it. And that really is the unique selling point, if I may use that term, of the ABN, is that all of our mentors are vetted. All of our mentors go through a rigorous application process, and all of our mentors have owned a business or been in business themselves. And if they haven't, they've been in a corporate, and in that corporate they've run a business unit, so they know what it's like. I call it hiring and firing and profit and loss. So if you don't know those things, how can you empathise with a mentee sitting in front of you? So empathy is a really big part of what the ABM is about. And being able to mentor with empathy is the main thing that we're looking for all the time. Kerry invited me to become a director of the ABM in 2013. It turned into 2014 before I became a director. and then I was elected to be its first chairman in 2017. Kerry Dorman was just starting another business at that time and wanted to step away from the ABM, and in 2019 she dangled the keys of the ABM and said, do you want to take this on? And I went, yeah, I really do want to take this on, because I saw something in the ABM that I knew we could do and do well. So 2019 come along, I knew we needed to professionalise the sector in the best possible way. So I sought out a training partner that I could work with who got mentoring from a business perspective. The mentoring qualification that the Institute of Leadership Management run has been about for a long time, but it is pure mentoring and coaching. It doesn't bring in the nuances of business, and business is very different to other coaching, such as life coaching and other like workplace mentoring. So the training company and I went to the Institute of Leadership Management. We thought we were going to have to register a new level 5 and level 7 program, but they liked what we were doing and said, no, you can use the existing framework, existing modules, and you can bring in the nuances of business mentoring and coaching into that framework. As long as you provide us with the course content and data, and you haven't explicitly changed the core course, then we're happy to support it. And the Institute of Leadership Management had done so with huge a collective hug really for the ABM, because without them we couldn't have done what we did, and we didn't have the money at that stage to register a new course. It's about £25,000 I think to get it through the ILM process. So we created a Pathfinder group. The Pathfinder group of eight colleagues and myself went through the level 7, and we brought in all the nuances of business mentoring and coaching, and we challenged each other, we argued with each other, we debated with each other, but we come up with the course that we've now got. Wind that forward to 21, and I'm a man who doesn't take no for an answer, so when government weren't listening about the value of mentoring, I was saying, you've got to keep listening because this isn't going to go away. And they said, well, give us the stats, give us the stats, give us the stats. And government is all about, we want to see the proof. Well, actually, when you mentor someone, some of the work you do is not tangible. We're talking about taking them from a journey at one place in their mental state to another that is in a much better state. And in doing that, it adds so much value to them and their business. You can't put a price on that, you can't put a value on it, and it's very hard to quantify. And I'm going to read something out at the end from one of my mentees that he wrote to me a couple of days ago. I was lucky enough to sit around a round table when, after Rishi Sunak announced the Help to Grow programme and in the then budget, and I was like, why was I invited to this? I don't know. There was 20 odd people in the room. There was universities, there was academics, there was people from government, other people from business support, and they were talking about the Help to Grow outlay as a modular course. And when it comes to the mentoring, I'm sitting there shaking my head on camera because it was in COVID. And one of the officials from DBT, or Bays as it was then, was looking at me and saying, Simon, you've got what's wrong? And I said, well, I've got an issue with this. And I told him what it was. And he said, yeah, I think you're right. And they changed the programme as a result of my input. And that was my light bulb moment. And during a work with a mentee, there's always one light bulb moment working with a mentee where they go, you know what, I get it. Why has nobody really told me this? And that was like my light bulb moment in government, in being an advisor, is that actually these people can listen and they can make a difference and we can change their direction. And I'm not saying all politicians need change of direction, but they do need to listen. And it was interesting to hear what was said just now, because I think the important thing is that when Gordon mentioned politicians make a difference and can change, well, they can, but actually they're just the catalyst. The people, the thing that makes the change is the people. And it's us that makes the change. And it's not just people that make the change, it's business that makes the change, because none of the economy would work if it wasn't for small and medium-sized businesses, not just in Northern Ireland, but throughout the UK and indeed throughout the world. It's the businesses that get things done at the end of the day. The politicians may be the catalyst, but we're the ones that get it done. And the only way business people can get it done is if they have some help and support. And exactly like our mentee said earlier on, if you've got an accountant, you've got a solicitor, why haven't you got a mentor? They're just as important in everything you do. And for me, I think we're more important. So, fast wind to yesterday, I was in London in a graduation ceremony for Help to Grow graduates who'd gone through the Level 5 and Level 7 programme. These are degree and master equivalent qualifications. It was a fantastic event, and I've got something in my pocket. This was my speech, but I'm not going to read my speech again. But I wrote something on the back of it when I found out. We put 63 people through the graduation ceremony yesterday in their gowns and their caps. Full-blown graduation event and a beautiful location in the City of London. There were 20 people that couldn't attend because they were doing other things, unfortunately. So that brings our number up to about 83. But yesterday I heard something that I found really emotional, and this was what I heard, and this is the number. We've now put 100 people through Level 5 and Level 7. That's 100 professionally trained business mentors and coaches that have gone through that programme. And for me, that was the most proudest moment of my time in the ABM so far. So that's what we stand for, and I have now the opportunity, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to sit in an office or in a round table session with the Small Business Minister, Minister Hollinrake, and he listens. And some of the earliest words that come out of his mouth in that ministerial round table session with other organisations was that we need to bring a standard into business mentoring and coaching in the UK, and we do. And it's been described as the Wild West out there. Anybody in this country can call themselves a mentor and coach. They need no qualification, they need no experience, they don't even need a training course. They can just call themselves a mentor and coach, and they can muck up people's lives. And I've got the case studies where I wouldn't say call them unscrupulous, but people that just don't know what they're doing, give wrong advice, the wrong support, and business owners fail or get challenged as a result of it. And that's not fair and not right. So the ABM's whole purpose is to bring standards into the sector and make sure that business owners know where to get a great business mentor and coach from, that they can trust. And I think trust, brought up again by our great mentee there, is so important, because that's what keeps that relationship alive. I get asked all the time by people, what's the difference between mentoring and coaching? I mentioned it earlier. Mentoring is where a mentor sits by the side of the business owner and holds their hand and is in there through the thick of everything they do. A coach sits opposite them and leads them through a transactional relationship of reaching an objective, maybe. But at the end of their session, they go away. At the end of the mentor-mentee session, we carry on in some way. So that's where we are with the ABM. We have great aspirations for Northern Ireland, and led by Michelle, and I'm so thankful for Michelle for bringing you all here together, and thankful also for Gordon for sponsoring it. And I just want to leave now with just really sort of echo what our mentee said, and that's from one of my mentees. And he's not saying this about me, but he's saying about the mentoring relationship. Especially on National Mentoring Day, there's over 70 million people worldwide that celebrate National Mentoring Day, and we're a tiny part of that. We had the pleasure of having Chelsea Baker with us yesterday, who's a very good friend of mine. I'm her mentor as well, so she says. I think she mentors me as well. But it's an important part of what we do, and we're very proud to celebrate and support NMD. So this is from my mentee just a couple of days ago. This is my first opening. So Sam and I met during COVID. He was looking for a mentor. I was one of these old-fashioned people that said mentoring needs to be face-to-face. You need to be in the same room. You need to read their body language. You need to be able to look at them in the eye. And I thought I'd never be able to mentor on camera. However, COVID changed all that. And it's been a good experience. It's been an interesting experience. It does take away some of the elements of being a good mentor, but actually you adapt, and that's what mentors do. We adapt to the person sitting in front of us. In fact, one of the key parts of the new Level 5 and Level 7 that we've created is the fact that we are chameleons. We respond to the person sitting in front of us. So we have to adapt to what the mentor's needs are at that moment in the session. So Sam and I have been mentoring for 2 years, mentor-mentee, chatted through camera, and it's always been a pleasure to work with Sam. He's probably the perfect mentee. He's that sponge that you need, that soaks everything up, but also challenges you and you challenge him. But he wrote this to me after we met in person for the first time on Tuesday in London, which was quite emotional. Mentoring is about creating a trusted, confidential relationship between both mentor and mentee, where both can learn, grow and flourish. A mentor, his words, sits by the side of their mentee, supporting, guiding, advising, while offering a listening ear, a soundboard, sometimes a shoulder to cry on, the metaphorical hug you always need, and a thank you for a job well done, and encouragement when the going gets tough, as it nearly always does when running a business. That's why having a professionally trained, experienced in-business mentor that can empathise and relate at your side brings enormous value and sometimes unquantifiable benefits to both the individual and their business, as well as improving the health, well-being and wealth of the mentee. I can't say it any better than that. That's what the ABM stands for, and that's why we're in Northern Ireland and the rest of the UK. And thank you, Michelle.
Well, thank you. Quite moving as well, so thank you for that. Thank you for sharing. So it's been an absolute honour really having everyone here today. I want to thank you all for taking the time. Being in this wonderful environment obviously is very inspiring in itself. Sorry. Oh yes. We've asked if you could hand in your lanyards as well. So yeah, I want to thank you for your time. Obviously, Michelle here, Gordon for hosting us here today, and really for taking your time out and being here. So yeah, thank you again. I appreciate you all.